Here we have a new 2023 Nissan Sentra. This one comes in the SV trim level in super black on charcoal cloth interior. And the powertrain consists of a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine mated to a continuously variable transmission. And that gives us 149 horsepower, 145 pound-feet of torque. Coming around the front end here, we get halogen headlamps. So standard for the SV here. Then we have the chrome outline there, which I like. And then coming around the wheels here, these are gonna be 16s, excuse me. And then we get passive keyless entry on the front 2 doors. And then we have our power mirror controls here. Just pick a side, then you can adjust. I'll set it in the middle to show you. Then we have our power door lock controls, rear window lock there. We have power windows with 1-touch automatic up and down for the driver's side. And then a bottle holder here, little storage in the pocket. Pop the trunk right there, eco mode. And we have a 6-way manual driver's seat. But I have that seat right there just for someone of my size. But before we check out the rear legroom and headroom, I want to give a huge shout out to Nissan of Cool Springs for allowing me to review this car today. And here's just a quick look at that window sticker. We do get that standard safety shield 360, which is nice. And then with all the options, it's $23,780. Well, let's go ahead and check out this rear space in the back. So, okay, legroom, my knees are in the back of the seat, but got a little bit of cushion there. But you sit like this, no problem, and you can fit your feet underneath the seat, so that's a plus. We have a USB-A port there, and then no middle fold down for the seat there. Now, I will say I just reviewed a couple of Versas a few days ago, and I feel like it was more roomy in there. Let me make sure I don't need to pop the gas cap. I think we're good. Nope, there it is. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm also gonna pop the hood for when I come back around. But there's a trunk space there. You get quite a bit of trunk space. And then you lift this up, spare tires right underneath there, and everything you need to change that out if you ever come upon that. But there's the back end there. And I like the little diffuser look at the bottom. It makes it look sporty without looking tacky, in my opinion. And then gas cap is there. And then if you ever want to fold this rear seat down, pull up here. That'll fold flat. You can run longer objects through. And then put it back into place, just pull it up. And then here we have a 4-way manual passenger seat. And glove compartment in there, pretty good size. The owner's manuals are right there. And then I like that Nissan puts this on all their cars, the parts content info, so you can see where all the parts for this car came from. The hood's a bit heavy, but there's that 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. I like that we can see everything. It's not all covered up. Yeah, that hood was rather heavy. But let's go ahead and hop in the driver's seat. Gonna cut this fan speed down, even though it's hot as blue blazes outside. But we get a leather wrap steering wheel here. And over to the radio, we do get AM, FM, XM along with Bluetooth audio, and then we have an aux input as well as Apple CarPlay, Android Auto wired through the USB. But not a lot going on here. If you want to go to your audio sources, just hit source, pull that up, and then you can replay on here, which I like. And the SXM menu itself, I like that you can get really in depth with it. And then several different views for your home page. You can manage your connections here. You can just add one, and it's pretty easy. It walks you through it. Info here for the system information, then all of your settings will be right in here, and also pretty self-explanatory. But the backup camera's here. Guidelines follow you as you turn the steering wheel. And then AC vents are here, hazards right there. And then we can control airflow here, temperature, and then defrosters, AC toggle, fan speed. We can cut the whole system off by turning it all the way to the left. Then we have a USB-C, USB-A, and an aux input here, 12 volt. And then for the shifter, just pull it down, hit this lever, reverse, neutral, drive, low gear, and then you can use this button right here and put it all the way back up. That's your sport mode there, which you can toggle. Cup holders there, a little storage here. Center console cubby space, which is actually a decent size. And there's a view of the back seat from up here. And we can toggle our lights there, sunglasses holder, garage door transmitter, and then to the steering wheel, volume controls, track lists, radio station presets, and then back button. And all of this is for the gauge cluster here. So we can go through our sub menus there and then use the arrows to go up and down through each sub menu. And then right side of the steering wheel, cruise controls there, gap adjust for the adaptive cruise, voice recognition, Bluetooth controls, and then you can just set and resume, increase, decrease speed there, cancel. Blinkers here, and then we do have high beam assist, so those are regular high beams there. And then in auto mode, the auto high beams will come on when you have that pushed back. And then to the right side of the steering wheel, sorry if there's any wind noise there, there's your low, or there's your intermittent, low, high, and then one time, and then you can adjust the intermittent here, turning on this part, and then pull up for front wiper fluid. Then push button starts right there. Key fob is here. And next it's time to take this Sentra SV out on the road for a quick test drive. So I've driven several Versas recently, and I'm glad I got to drive the Sentra kind of close to that, because there is a big difference between the 2-liter 4-cylinder and the 1.6-liter 4-cylinder. I feel like the 1.6 is rather strained, while this 2-liter actually does a great job at accelerating without screaming at you. And I feel like the sport mode here as well makes a big difference, and it still doesn't make it run rough, if that makes sense. Even in the sport mode, this accelerates better. It feels like an actual sport mode, not like you're trying to kill the car like it does in the Versa. And I said in the reviews I've done of those that they're a great car in the normal mode. I just wouldn't put them in sport mode because there's really no reason to. But if you do want that burst of speed every so often, you can just adjust that here. And the same with the eco mode as well. With the eco mode, I would only recommend using that on the interstate where you don't need passing power, because it's just a weird setup. It's weird how they did it, but it's meant to maximize efficiency more than probably any other eco mode, because you can put your foot halfway down and it doesn't really care. But what's great about this car is you get 25 or 29 miles per gallon city, 39 highway, and it's just a very efficient vehicle. I'm gonna put the eco mode on now, and then also see how it accelerates. So I have it in the sport mode. Now I can't see. Now it's in eco mode. So it does a good job, especially downhill, at accelerating without revving too hot. But one thing I should have done, which I didn't know I need, is I need to put the steering wheel right here, because all the indicators are down there at the bottom of that digital part of the gauge cluster. So we're in sport now. And like I said, this one actually does a decent job. But we have the adaptive cruise on now. I'm gonna leave that middle gap there. And as I start to get closer to the vehicle in front of me, it's gonna slow down. But all in all, blind spot monitors here I forgot to mention, but this is a pretty awesome safety shield here, especially for the money. Now, me personally, I'd take a step up and go to the SR, but if money is a big thing for you, and it is for a lot of buyers, specifically in this segment, you'll get a lot with the SV, and you're only gonna miss things if you've had them before. But they still come pretty well equipped in this middle trim level. Now, in terms of competition, probably the Sentra's in its own. Nissan was smart about this. So you have the Altima, you have the Versa, you have the Sentra. So it's hard to really put it up against anything. So I'd probably say the Elantra, the Civic, and then probably the Corolla would be decent competitors. But for me, the Sentra's just kind of, between the Sentra and the Versa, you can basically decide for yourself which is which. But I think for the money, the Sentra's one of the better buys, just because you get so much. And if you take care of the CVT, honestly, the CVT is gonna last you a long time. So again, very good car for the money, especially with the safety technology that you get standard these days. Gonna give it one more pull here. Yeah, the sport mode actually does pull you in this as opposed to the Versa. So just a great driving car in terms of acceleration with a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4. But this will bring me to the end of my review of the new 2023 Nissan Sentra in the SV trim level.